All right now.
Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
live.
They want it. They want it.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. You go get it.
That's the difference here right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not having a snowball fight.
He'll get handled when it gets handled.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. Touchdown! Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce.
Do it live!
Let's go!
You gotta fight for your right to party!
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would, real quick, if you wouldn't mind, before you forget, make sure to click or tap that like and click or tap that subscribe button. Maybe tell a friend, tell a family member, tell some Chiefs fans. Help spread the word. We'd sure appreciate it. We got a good show lined up for everybody this evening after a couple weeks off. Trey Smith gets his payday. Rumors swirling about who's next to get their payday. We're going to talk about Chiefs contracts and who we think and who we want to get extended and get signed up here. Training camp starts next week. We talked about kind of what we were looking forward to and what we were going to have our eye on, and we wanted to know what you all thought. So we got a poll question there, seeing what Chiefs Kingdom is going to be watching next week up there in St. Joe, Missouri. And with training camp starting next week, Travis Kelce. Is this his last year? There's people out there on social media that have like the last ride, and it's like pictures of Patrick and Travis. And I'm like, is he said for sure he's not playing next year? I don't know. Well, we're going to get into that. Hope everybody in the chat and everybody watching at home or wherever you're watching is doing good. Bo had a family emergency, so he will not be with us tonight. Bo's all right, but lost in the family. So if you send thoughts and prayers out, maybe send some out to Bo and his family. They're great people, Bo and all his family. So thinking of them. Nick, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. Like, I laugh every single time I see Justin Herbert smash his helmet.
Dude, it's so funny you say that. Like, that might be like my favorite part of the clip because you can tell the way he does it. It's just like, I fucking can never beat this fucking team. Just the anger is
I don't know why. It's just the way he does it.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't just like throw it down. He's got both hands like grasping the face mask and like slamming it into the back.
It's like unable to put the IKEA furniture together level of smashing stuff is what it looks like. But yeah, dude, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just getting through summer here in KC. We are definitely in the July heat. We got a little wrinkle, but yeah, man, I'm good.
Good. Summer's finally here. The hot weather took till July, which was nice. Had a nice prolonged spring. Looks like we got Big Doug in there. 2 more years. He's saying, well, we're going to get to that probably towards the end of the show. But the big news everybody's been talking about, Justin Ross being released. No, I'm just kidding. Sad day in Chiefs Kingdom.
Greatest it never was.
We'll always have the training camp highlights and the touchdown in the preseason game where he mossed the Browns defender. Man, when I saw that play, I thought for sure Justin Ross was on his way to being something. I'm not going to say like a Hall of Fame player or a Calvin Johnson or something, right? Or a Tyreek Hill, but I thought he was really, really going to be a productive player, man, for this team, man. It just never happened. It fizzled out. I don't know what it was, but Nick, Justin Ross, I know you were
I was
Justin Ross, right?
I was on team Ross. Yeah, I think it's just goes to show that there's a lot more in the NFL than being physically talented, right? It's like it's a pros business, and I think that there's a lot of things that you need to do and do well outside of the football field to get your opportunity, right? And you need to be able to translate that onto the field. And so I think that it's like, we could all see the talent. We could all see what he could do when he, was open and the ball was coming his way. But for whatever reason, he never was able to adapt to life in the NFL with the Chiefs, man. I mean, it's not like he was out there doing everything that they told him to do and doing it well and getting open and being able to, run the routes that they wanted him to do and fit into the offense. And they decided, nah, we're not going to use this guy. Right. So, so it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer because you could see the potential there. So,
yeah. And it's hyper competitive, right? How hard it is to make a team and not only just make the team, but then be a productive producing player in the NFL. Only the top of the top of the top, right? The best of the best of the best make it to that level. But best wishes to Justin Ross. He asked to be released. Chiefs granted his wish and let him go. And maybe he'll catch on another team and have a chance to go through training camp. So,
well, Bo will always have his signed Justin Ross jersey.
That he will. I'd be washing the car with it, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind still. It's a signed jersey. It don't matter who it is. But the real news, all kidding aside, Trey Smith, record contract for guard, right? Or was it all? It wasn't all offensive lineman, but guard. Record contract for his position locks him up in KC for the next 4 years. A lot of people were worrying that it was getting close to the deadline there yesterday before they announced it, but they got it done. Overall thoughts, Nick, on Trey Smith getting the bag? I think is a term a lot of players and people use. Are you happy, excited, indifferent? I mean, what do you think?
I mean, look, we know the Chiefs are looking to secure up their offensive line. This is a big piece in doing that. I'm happy for the man, but I'm such like a Chiefs team guy that anytime I hear record-setting contract and or highest paid at his position for one of our guys, it's not like like a skill player. I get a little worried, right? But I think the Chiefs understand roster construction and they understand the salary cap and how to move things around. They're banking on saving some money there at that left tackle position with the draft pick down the roads, hoping that pans out. So I feel good, man. Look at Trey. He's earned the money. He's earned that contract. And I mean, he's just a filthy player out on the field, man. There's just some video out there of him just destroying defenders on the field. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see that we're, taking the offensive line seriously as a team. We obviously saw that deficiency last year, cost Chiefs pretty big at the end of the season. So,
right. Yeah. Record contracts. There's only so many of those guys you can have on your team, right?
Right.
There's only so many top of your position pay days that you can hand out. And listen, I understand the thought process, and especially after how bad the Super Bowl looked and how bad it was, and they had Joe Tooney playing tackle towards the end of last year. We all know about the Kingsley situation and then the Wanye Morris, and it was kind of a revolving door there at left tackle. I think maybe that probably played more into it than maybe the interior of the line, but Creed Humphrey, right? I mean, he's got a record deal at top of his position. You got Trey Smith now. The Juwan Taylor, he's making $20 million on that right tackle a year or more.
Right.
They brought in Jalen Moore to play left tackle this year at $21 million. That's a lot of money on the offensive line. They better, Patrick better be able to stand back there and balance his checkbook. And,
the amount of money they're spending, for sure.
The amount of money they're spending on the line this coming year, man, it cannot be an issue protecting Patrick Mahomes. Josh Simmons, the rookie, maybe that helps out. They paid Joe Thuney a lot of money, right? To come here to get him away from New England, and they were able to sustain dynasty level success. So not that paying a guard or an offensive lineman top of the tier payday prohibits you or makes it impossible for you to pay other guys and keep up the successes of the team, but definitely, makes it more difficult. But yeah, Trey Smith, athletic freak, right? I mean, dude's.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, it's
dude
pretty
can
easy
ball,
to pancake. Sure. It's pretty easy to pancake dudes when you're outweighing them by 100 whatever pounds, and he's quick. He's fleet of foot, man. So it's not like he's a statue there at right guard. Right guard, to me, I don't know where I ranked that on the offensive line. You and I were kind of talking about this earlier.
Right.
I'm not an offensive line coach. I never played offensive line in the NFL, so I don't really know that me ranking them, how accurate that is. But, I mean, you're looking at left tackle, obviously probably the most important position on the offensive line. It's the blind side. Yeah. You got to protect the edge. Maybe then you look at right tackle or center. Center's got to be able to snap the ball and then block. I mean, center's got to be able to do a lot of things, communicate to the line. Here, Jason Kelce talk about that, all right, a lot. I mean, you call out the protections and you're doing a lot of the things. And then left guard, just because it's on that left side, next left tackle. I mean, is right guard the least valuable offensive line position?
Well, obviously not to the Chiefs.
Right.
Yeah, I think it depends on whether you're talking passing game or run game. Maybe in the passing game, I think in the run game, I think it just depends on, which tackle you're running off of. But yeah, look, it's definitely not the premium position, right? And so it's the Chiefs are paying high at that position. You hope that it's a wise move, right? That they, it's sometimes with contracts, like it's, the team loses too, right? And that's what we hope that, like that it's a good deal for both of the parties involved. I'm not going to say it's the least important because I don't understand enough about the dynamics of the line, but it's definitely, it's not the premier position that you'd be looking. If you're like, hey, you're going to have the highest paid guy in the league at one of your offensive line positions, that's probably not the position that people would focus on. So,
right, with the Joe Thuney, they traded him, obviously moved that money off. Jalen Moore making $20+ million at left tackle. That's maybe a 1-year thing. I know he's on a 2-year deal, but they could get out of that contract after this year. Juwan Taylor, this is his last year too, where the Chiefs are kind of saddled with his high salary. So,
right,
I think they're positioned to absorb it after this year. That was also, though, part of the reason why I didn't. And I know everybody loves Trey Smith and fans want to see their guys get paid. And I like Trey Smith and I like Chiefs players. I want to see them, get paid. It's not that I begrudge them for getting a big payday or making the money they make. I mean, you're worth what someone is willing to pay you in the free market. And he got the big contract. But to me, he was on the franchise tag. He had signed it. There was really, I don't think, any threat of him not playing and forfeiting. Right? And holding out and forfeiting all that money and paying the fines for missing. You could have saw how it went at left tackle. Juwan Taylor, like I said, his contract falls off next year. You can go into the draft maybe looking for something. I just didn't think it would have been the end of the world if he would have played on the franchise tag this year. Do you? I mean, people were like freaking out that on Tuesday that it hadn't been announced yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like a damage to the working relationship if the player ends up playing on the franchise tag. I think I don't think that that's exactly where you want to go. I mean, I'm wondering if this is like also maybe like a good sign in what they've seen out of Simmons since they drafted him, right? And maybe they feel confident that they're going to have like a position that's going to be held down for a few years where that contract's not going to hurt them because they're going to have somebody that's that's cheaper at the left tackle position. So maybe this is like a good sign, right? That they have faith in their draft pick, that they feel like they don't have to maybe look at, like investing in a expensive free agent left tackle for a few years. So I do see what you're saying though. Like, I mean, you had him walk down, but then they are paying him an average of the top 10 anyway, right? And then if he has another great year, then I mean, he may come back next year. We've seen the Chiefs do that in the past, not necessarily with the Brett Veach era, but letting players play on the franchise tag. They have like a baller season, and then you owe them like even more money the next year. So maybe they're just trying to get it out of the way. And he's done all the right things too, right? Like he wasn't playing hardball and stuff. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation.
Yeah, no, look, I'm not saying that the guy didn't earn the money, and I'm not trying to say that he's not worth the money.
But they didn't have to pay him that much this year. If you look at it from a strict business standpoint and constructing the team, they're paying him more than now, than they would have had to, right? Now, some of that maybe is hidden money later in the contract and stuff, and that may end up reducing his salary cap hit this year. I don't know, but
from the stuff I read, it was like they kind of did this one different. Like they kind of front loaded it, actually. I think, look, they knew that they were under cap this year. I think they understood where they were at. Save some money maybe for a few years down the road if you are looking to extend Simmons, or if you need to sign a right tackle or someone out there on the end there. So, look, it's hard to argue with the results the Chiefs front office has had in their signings. And really, I mean, it's pretty amazing that they've been able to lock up a lot of these guys that they have. I mean, they paid Creed Humphrey a lot of money. They've paid Trey Smith a lot of money now. I mean, they kept Nick Bolton, gave him not a record contract, but a healthy pay raise. So the team has shown that if you come in and you're one of their guys and you produce, you're going to get paid. And that's not always necessarily a bad thing either. So congratulations to Trey Smith. Happy for him. That's a generational wealth, right?
70 million guaranteed.
Right. That's a lot of money. And two of did you see the video that they put out where he called his dad after he'd signed the contract and was talking to him? That was really cool. You can tell Trey Smith's a down to earth, genuinely good guy. And you always like to see the good guy, right, win in the end. Sure, man. And so congrats. Looks like John C's in there. Gentlemen, pancake time. Yeah, we need to get a nickname maybe for Trey Smith. Now that he's locked up here and moving forward, might have to come up with
start calling him Flapjack or something.
Yeah, we could come up with something like that. But now that his contract is taken care of, the Chiefs can move their attention elsewhere. I want to say I saw Nate Taylor, who is for ESPN now, moved on from The Athletic, was talking about, Trent McDuffie is coming up, not on the end of his deal, but the Chiefs would like to extend him. And then there's an account that is starting to gain prominence in the news breaking world. Ricky Scoops, I want to say, at Ricky Scoops on X. The guy's right more than he's wrong. No one really seems to have any idea who he is. He's obviously somebody with some inside NFL information, and not just Chiefs information. I mean, he breaks a lot of stuff. He broke the Sauce Gardner kind of thing. And when I say broke, he kind of predicts it, right? The Jordan Schultzes and the Ian Rappaports and the Adam Schefters of the world.
They're still the ones with the details, right?
They're the ones with the details, and they're the ones that when they say it, it's like official, right? They're announcing it, but he was saying that George Karlaftis is expected to be the next guy, get a contract extension sometime during training camp. Nick, Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, I mean, maybe with the big payday to Trey Smith, you have to wait a year now on Trent McDuffie, who's going to command a big salary. Maybe Karlaftis is, I don't want to say a team-friendly deal. He's been a good player. I don't know that you would consider him like one of the top elite level pass rushers, edge rushers in the NFL exactly, though. Maybe that makes him a little bit easier to sign. So maybe you focus on him and look and see with some money falling off next year at where Trent McDuffie's at. I mean, be great to keep both of those guys. They're both first-round picks, so you've got the first-year option, or I'm sorry, the fifth-year option on those guys. What do you think we see? I mean, you think George Karlaftis, or you think Trent McDuffie gets a deal next?
Yeah, I mean, you brought this up on the poll, which let me see if I can pull it up here. Give me just a second.
Yeah, because you kind of had conflicting reports out there. It's kind of people were maybe just assuming. I don't know. I don't.
Right.
Trent McDuffie would be the next guy, but Pro Football Focus put him out there as like the third best corner in the NFL.
Yeah, look, so I mean, we got a few votes here. I went Karlaftis. I cheated though because you said that right before that that was the word. So hopefully I can be on the winning side with.
Well, I don't know if it's a word of side. It's kind of like I said, it's kind of conflicting with some of the other stuff you've seen people talking about.
I think it makes sense because you're going to see maybe Karlaftis get kind of more of that like Nick Bolton level type contract, right? As opposed to McDuffie, who, I mean, do you think McDuffie gets more or less per year than Sauce Gardner?
I mean, the way these things work is usually the next guy, right?
It's more, right?
Gets more. Trent McDuffie is in that Sauce Gardner tier as one of the elite cornerbacks in the NFL. The guy, he stays healthy. It doesn't miss games, right?
Proven winner, right?
Proven winner. He's made big plays in Super Bowls. That's worth a lot of money right there. Crunch time. I mean, go back to the Super Bowl in Vegas, 58 that they won. I mean, he had a huge pass breakup in the end zone, and he also had the rush that forced the 49ers into punting late in the game there, where a first down would have probably put them into field goal range, and they maybe could have iced it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Look, I think I would have to go Karlaftis just because I do agree. I think they need to, if they're looking at another like kind of market resetting type contracts, that probably need to wait till next year. I'm often wrong on these things, as I mean, anybody that watches the show knows. So
you're not supposed to remind people when you're wrong, Nick. You're
good news for Trent McDuffie.
Right.
Yeah, but it just does all feel like they're not going to have back-to-back, record-setting type contracts in the same season. So they do have that next year option, right? So I think they'll probably wait a year and then, sign Furious George and maybe get him, locked up for another couple of years. So I think that sounds like the smart play. So it's probably what the Chiefs will do.
Right. If you're George Karlaftis, do you, like I said, the guy's been a good player.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody's going to mistake him as one of the top edge rushers in the NFL. He had a double-digit sack season once, but he's been in the single digits the other 2 or 3 years of his career. I mean, if you're him, do you bet on yourself though and say, look, I'm going to come in and I'm going to really, really put in the extra work and try to get, if the guy could get into another double-digit sack year or something like that, you're talking about a lot more money. If you're George Karlaftis, do you kind of take the sure thing though? I mean, having been a good player, but not necessarily someone who's recognized as the best at your position or one of the top at your position in the NFL, or do you sign an extension now and just take the sure thing?
I mean, I've always been like a bird in hand kind of person, right? You never know what the future is going to bring. You're talking enough money if you're wise with it to last the rest of your life either way.
Yeah. And your kid's life. And
yeah. So I mean, if it were me, like, I know people say bet on yourself or whatever, but I would take the sure thing. You never know in the NFL what can happen in a season with a player and injuries and this sort of stuff. So I would, if they're offering me, like good enough money, my agent's sitting there saying, yeah, no, this is like a good deal for your value. Like I'd be taking it. That's me,
Yeah. Yeah.
I also wasn't taking any gambles, trying to get into professional sports or anything. So.
Right. Yeah. Look, those guys are all supremely confident in their abilities.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that he's looking at a Max Crosby type deal, $100 million. Not that the Chiefs are even positioned to hand out that kind of dough. And you could just do what a lot of these other players do, and you sign a contract, and then you outperform it, or you feel you outperform it. You can just threaten to hold out and ask for more money, a la Terry McLaurin and some of these other guys that they take the sure thing, right, and maybe sign a contract a little bit too early and don't bet on themselves, and then when they feel like they've overperformed or outperforming their contract, they just say, I want another one, and we're going to tear this one up, or I'm not playing. So don't know that George Karlaftis is that type of guy, but
Bruce Jones did that, right, to a certain extent.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. If you're the Chiefs, it would be great to lock him up early and try to get him under a potentially more team-friendly deal. But yeah, the Trey Smith thing happening and being a record deal, like you were saying, I think that kind of precludes them from giving Trent McDuffie a record contract, some sort of top and Sauce Gardner over $100 million a year. I mean, corners are getting expensive, just like wide receivers. And I know L'Jarius Sneed was a really, really phenomenal player in his last year, a very, very good player the years before that. There was concerns with the knees and the health. But the Chiefs have shown that they'll move on from corners and draft guys. I mean, they got Noel Williams, the rookie, coming in this year. Any chance you see the Chiefs just letting Trent McDuffie walk and not paying him?
It's always on the table. I do feel like, McDuffie just seems like the prototypical Chiefs player, though, right? That they're looking for, right? Like he just fits the mold, I think, of everything that exemplifies the organization on and off the field. So, I think that he's a guy that I expect that they'll keep him, and then he's a special player, man. He performs under pressure, and he's done it in the highest leverage situations that can happen. He's the right age to look at an extension. So, I feel like they'll get it done.
He can play out wide. He can play in the slot. He can cover anybody. That versatility is extremely difficult to find. But the Chiefs have found cornerbacks, man. Like whatever it is, when they draft cornerbacks, they hit way more than they miss. I mean, they brought in guys. L'Jarius Sneed was not a first or second round draft pick. They brought in Jalen Watson. I want to say he was, a 6th or 7th round pick?
Yeah.
A couple years ago. He was a starter, played really, really well. They've got guys and brought guys in and have been able to fill that position. So, I'm not going to be worried if Trent McDuffie doesn't get a deal like this year, right? I think that's out the window for training camp at this point. So, I want him to keep him, though, right? The guys. There's a difference between finding replacement guys and then going out and hitting another home run and getting a guy who's he's third year. He's played 3 years in the league. He's been an all-pro 2 of those years. Only getting better.
Yeah,
his prime.
I think his ability and his leadership and everything. I think the Chiefs know, if they can keep a good defense, they're gonna be basically in the Super Bowl almost every year with Patrick Mahomes, right?
Right.
So I think that I think they'll be looking to find a deal now. If his agent is asking too much, I think the Chiefs would definitely be we're just not comfortable paying that much money and see what they can do. I think they also
we're not in position to. We can't.
Yeah, not in position to. They can't, right? So, and I think that they'll do right by him either way in that situation. They've done that with other players, where they've said, well, okay, let's see what kind of trades we can get, right? They did with Tyreek Hill, right? Yeah. And so, but I think that he's going to stay a Chief, man. I feel like this is one of the players they will lock down.
Yeah. Well, so be interesting. See training camp. It starts next week. They'll be out there Tuesday. First practice the season. That's really they have you have the draft and you have some fun off-season stuff and the OTAs and the rookie mini camps or whatever and the voluntary workouts, but they get back to work next week, right? I mean, you're punching the clock and the season is starting if you're an NFL player next week when training camp starts up. Looking forward to seeing the position battles up there in St. Joe. We talked a couple weeks ago about what we were going to have our eye on or what we were looking forward to seeing most in training camp, the position battles or a certain player. Wanted to see what you all thought out there in Chiefs Kingdom. Put the poll out last week. We put this out last week, and then due to circumstances beyond our control, we couldn't have the show, so we kind of got another poll here. Nick's going to bring it up. I want to see what you all were looking at. I want to say Bo said he was looking at offensive line. Nick, do you recall? You probably have to scroll.
Are you looking at which position groups? Is that where you?
Yeah.
We're a professional podcast here.
The one we talked about before the show.
This one?
Yep. We kind of gave our thoughts on it last week. You all have spoken. Offensive line dominated this poll. We didn't put wide receiver in there because, look, it's the top three guys are the top three guys. It's Rashee Rice, it's Xavier Worthy, and it's Hollywood Brown. Running back, there's some intrigue there with the 7th-round draft pick, everybody's favorite draft pick in Chiefs Kingdom now the last few years since Isaiah Pacheco came in as a 7th-round pick, the 7th-round draft pick that's going to be a future Hall of Famer. Defensive backs, and then defensive line. I mean, which of these are you looking forward to? I mean, what are you most interested in out of these 4 choices here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see I picked offensive line. I just feel like we got to get better at the O-line. I mean, it's the fundamental point of the game is to control the line of scrimmage, right? And so I think that it's like after the Tampa Super Bowl all over again, where I think Chiefs fans just want to see that we've got the guy at quarterback. We've got to, we got to protect him and we got to give him time. We've got, I mean, obviously if you had wide receivers on here, I think I probably would have picked wide receivers over offensive line, because I think that is also another spot where it's like it seems like we've had kind of lackluster performance out of that group over the last few years. I know there are a lot of injuries last year. But yeah, out of these, I don't think that anybody's sitting there thinking, okay, the running backs, if we get a great if we hit, on a 7th-round running back like that, that's going to be what our ticket is, right? I don't think we're looking at necessarily like the defensive backs or the defensive line thinking that's going to be our ticket, right? Everybody's looking at what are they going to do to give Patrick enough time so that maybe we can take another run at the Super Bowl. And I think that that's the group that is in the forefront of most people's minds.
Yeah, you've got the battle out there. I mean, the reports are still that Josh Simmons, the 1st-round draft pick out of Ohio State, is going to be healthy and ready to go for training camp. There's a battle out there. There's people going back and forth online. Whether or not he starts, we've kind of talked about that in previous episodes. If you want to go back and check out those conversations. But to me, outside of that left tackle position, I mean, the offensive line is pretty much set, right? I mean, Kingsley's going to get a shot at guard. Maybe if Simmons and Moore, whoever doesn't win that battle, maybe they end up at left guard. But, I mean, you've got most of your line is set outside of that left tackle position. I mean, it's pretty much going to be Creed and Trey Smith, the guard, and Juwan Taylor out there on the right side. To me, of those groups, running back is the most intriguing because Isaiah Pacheco, he's the incumbent. He's the front runner, having been in the offense, but he's got competition at that position. And even before he got hurt last year, he did not look as explosive. He did not look as good as he had in previous years. Not that he didn't look good at all, or not that it was a dramatic drop off, but they struggled. Even ever since he's come here, really, they've struggled, especially in short yardage situations and running between the tackles. They brought in Elijah Mitchell, a guy who's maybe he's like the Justin Ross of running back. Extremely talented guy, when healthy, but injuries and set that guy back and kept him from really kind of taking off. You got the 7th round draft pick in there, the new kid, Kareem Hunt's back for training camp. To me, man, like I'm watching running back out of those just because I think there's more up for grabs in that position group. I don't think it's as settled as a lot of the other ones. Defensive line surprised me some. Look, the Chiefs, there's drama now with the defensive tackle that they picked out of Tennessee. His guy's name's escaping me now, of course, but maybe he's not going to report. He's wanting some guarantees similar to some other players. And so, but they brought in Gelati, right? The guy out of Louisville. Someone help me out with the kid's name from Tennessee, the defensive tackle. Omar Norman Lott. Maybe he's holding out. I'd like to think the Chiefs can get that situation situated and taken care of before training camp. But the defensive line sacks were down last year from where they had been. Little surprised, Nick, that defensive line got, 1% or whatever that was of the vote, 2.5% or something?
I mean, I'm not, right? Like, I think that, like I said, I think everybody's just looking at one thing. And I'm not saying that's the right answer, but that's the predictable answer, right? Is that everybody's like, dude, like, are we going to be competent at offensive line, right?
Yeah.
It's you feel like you kind of blew an opportunity last year because of a couple of things that we didn't really shore up, and a big one was left tackle. And so I think that, seeing that we got somebody that looks like they were maybe a steal where we were able to draft them, and then just seeing if like we've invested some money now, right? We've signed Trey Smith, right? Like we're paying a lot of money for Jawan Taylor. We're even paying a lot of money for, the guy from San Francisco that we brought in as left tackle. And so I think that that's why it is our defensive line. I think that people know, they've got Karlaftis and they've got Chris Jones. I think it's a known quantity. I don't know that there's like a lot of like mystique around. Are they going to get a lot better? Are they, or are they going to get, are they going to stay the same? I just feel like there's just not as much variability there in the eyes of the fan base. So that didn't necessarily surprise me. I think that we kind of know what we're going to get. We're going to be a competent line. We're not going to probably be leading the league in sacks. But as long as we can get to the quarterback, like on the crucial downs when it really matters, like then we'll be okay. And I think we still have the personnel to do that. So,
yeah. The Chiefs, they spent 2 pretty high draft picks on defensive line. No. And, for it to just get like next to no interest or votes at all was interesting. I mean, I know Chris Jones can be out there, but there's some questions. George Karlaftis, maybe he gets his contract extension, but I mean, if he's playing for a payday, they lost Turk Wharton, who was a very productive player. He went on to the Carolina Panthers. Chiefs picked 2 draft picks along the defensive line. I mean, the Chiefs are definitely concerned about it, right? I mean, they felt the need to address it like that. So, to me, for it to just be an afterthought, it was just kind of surprising a little bit. Obviously,
I just think the fan base
isn't much of a surprise because of how the Super Bowl went. And last year, overall, I mean, even the whole season, it was an issue protecting Patrick. But
I just think this fan base is ready to see this offense take the next step, right, and become what we've seen in the past, and we know that it's capable of. I mean, look at You're absolutely right. They did put some draft capital there. And look in the Super Bowl with the Eagles, you saw what a dominant defensive line can do for a team.
Yeah.
I mean, they can
Pass
literally
rush.
just take over an entire game. So, it's not that it's not valuable. I just think that the fan base has just been sitting there looking at what we consider by Mahomes standards a lackluster offense for a couple of years now, and I think they're thirsty for that, and so I think that's why it went the way it went. So
the awful interception that Jalen Hurts had in the Super Bowl was really the one and only time he was pressured. Eagles.
Yeah, he's like the worst quarterback in the league when he's under pressure. According to some advanced statistics I saw.
Right. So I mean, it's no secret that the Philadelphia Eagles have a very, very good offensive line. Even with Jason Kelce departing, they're really good there. So, I just again not being an afterthought. 2 draft picks in the higher rounds spent, and maybe a little bit of a dip in production last year. Charles Omenihu should be back healthy 100% this year. No suspensions, no injuries, return, right? That's really been the story of his first couple of years here with the team. He's on a 1-year prove-it deal. I'm interested to see what he can do healthy, if he can come back and be 100% in 16 games. And you got 2 new guys, albeit that both new guys are going to be there. I don't think there's any worry that Gelati is going to be there, but the Norman Lott thing has got some people concerned. I mean, how concerned are you about that? You think you have a situation where the rookie second-round pick, right, holds out and doesn't play?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, I think that the rookie contract situation is where, like, kind of a pendulum effect where they had these rookies that were signing these insane deals and then being busts, right? I mean, Jamarcus Russell is kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back there, or straw for Jamarcus Russell, the way he showed up was probably not the right term, but so I think that what they did was they've got this rookie contract structure now, and I think that these guys, they know that this is like their one shot to, at this type of earning potential. The average person's in the league for less than what the average rookie contract is. And so I think that now you're starting to see some pushback, and they're looking for some guarantees. So yeah, it stinks. I like, you think that maybe that would come up during your talks, but maybe these guys are, not coming out in their interviews and saying, "Hey, by the way, when you draft me, I'm going to demand.
I'm going to be difficult to sign." And
yeah,
show
I mean,
up.
it's probably a pretty bad negotiating technique if you're in your interviews. But
right.
yeah, it stinks. It stinks. But I will say that I think it's understandable, right, that they're looking for some kind of guarantee, because I mean,
you're a rookie that hasn't taken a snap in the NFL. I mean, you see this with baseball, man. I mean, these rookie baseball players, they cash checks for tens of millions of dollars, and some of them never even make the big leagues. I understand that's not a perfect analogy, but I'm not saying you should be going out there for chicken feed as a rookie, but at the same time, man, you've never proven it, and you never played one snap in the NFL. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd look at his teams being unreasonable or not, right? They've been doing this for a long time.
Well, look, the NFL ownership is going to take whatever they can get in that respect, right? Like, so I think that what you're starting to see is that players are starting to push, and they're trying to give the union the signal that, I mean, like, we've got to get a little bit more guarantee for these guys that are coming into the league. I mean, you're not wrong, right? You haven't done anything, right, except get drafted. Now you're trying to make demands. So I understand that point. I'm just saying that I think that the rookie contract structure right now and what those guys get paid, like, you look at like what, especially like a quarterback, right? I mean, like, people always talk about it. It's like, oh, well, you got to like make hay while the sun shines before your quarterback signs his contract, because that's like kind of the end of your window in a lot of ways. And it's only because those guys are not being paid anywhere near what their value is, right? I think so. I think that it's like just basically saying, hey, like, we understand that like these guys are getting underpaid in these deals, and so I think from that standpoint, I do kind of understand the thought process there. Do I like it happening with my team? No. I mean,
certainly wouldn't be the first second-round draft pick to flame out and never really be much.
For sure.
I mean, it's happened a lot of times, and I'm not talking just the Chiefs, but in the NFL, man, there's a lot of first-round draft picks that never are worth that number one draft pick. I'm not even gonna say the guy's name. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna leave that man alone. It's no sense. But
yeah, I think that this is like you're seeing a kind of a collective effort on some of the agents' parts to try to do this, right? I think that that's what you're seeing. I don't even necessarily think it's about him, about what Lott's wanting to do, but
yeah,
we'll see, man. I mean,
if you hold out and you never go play, I mean, I guess you could wait an entire year.
Tough bargaining position.
And then go back into the draft again after. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I'm siding with the teams on these rookie deals and these guys not signing.
Well, at the end of the end of the day, that's the deal that they have in their collective bargaining agreement, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, those guys are rookies. I mean, they didn't negotiate.
I know they weren't part of that
They've
deal,
never even been in there. I mean, if you think you could do better elsewhere, you could pick a different profession, or you could stay in college another year. I don't know, man. Like that's.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like if I went to join a bricklayers union and I was like, well, like I'll join, but like I need to like more money than what you say I'm going to be making on day one as part of I mean, it just doesn't necessarily line up 100%, does it?
No, it doesn't sit. It just don't sit. Doesn't really sit well with me.
I've thought for a few years though that they're kind of screwing these guys on these rookie contracts.
I don't know, man. What's the league minimum? What's the rookie minimum? Look it up. Like it's still really, really good money. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can get that ironed out and they can get into training camp. Travis Kelce. Possibly his last training camp at St. Joe. People have been talking about how good Travis Kelce is looking, and he's canceled Kelce Jam, and he's talked about how he was just his play last year, especially the last game there in the Super Bowl, wasn't good enough, and he's dedicated his offseason to getting back to being as close to prime Travis Kelce as he can be. He was at the American Century Championships golf thing and was looking slim and trim, man, looking good. There's people, and we mentioned this at the top of the show out there with Last Ride and Patrick and Travis and the farewell tour.
Good for you, John.
Look, man, is it a foregone conclusion this is his last year? Did I miss something? Did he announce he's retiring after this year? I mean, they asked him about it a few weeks ago at one of the off-season workout mini camps, and he said that, I'm on a contract this year, and we'll play this year out, and then we'll maybe look at next year. I mean, I think it's premature just to assume that this is going to be his last year. Maybe if he comes back and the rededication and the slimming down and all that stuff, if it doesn't have an effect, I mean, it clearly could very well be his last year, but I think to just like assume that he's done. I mean, if he comes back rededicated and slimmer and lighter and maybe a little faster and goes back out there, he still had almost 100 catches for 900-something yards last year. He was a damn good player. If he comes out and has another season like that, or maybe even a better season, why couldn't he play next year?
The way I look at this, right, and I'll pull I think I got it. Like, I'm not going to say it's his last year, but like, if he doesn't even seem to know, so I don't know. I get why people are saying that, right, and his age and productivity last year, but he's still pretty damn productive last year. So
yeah, I was just said 100 catches, 97 catches for 900-something yards is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say it's his last year. I think that he's still got a lot of football in him. I think that he has the dude never misses games, right? And he said that he's had like 10 surgeries. So that there are a lot of times where like he probably needed surgery and he's just played the entire season anyway, right?
Right.
So I feel like I just feel like there's more in the tank for Travis. I think that he is taking his health and stuff a little more seriously this year. Not that he didn't take it seriously before, but me being a little more focused, right, on some of the things that maybe he didn't have to focus on when he was a younger guy, that just came naturally from age. And now that he's getting a little older, he's being a little smarter about some of the decisions he's making with like his food and his exercise. And so I think that it's pretty reasonable to think that he's going to play for more than one more year. So yeah, I don't know where all this is coming from. I mean, they talked about Tom Brady retiring for like 10 years, like
Yeah,
where he did too. So I just,
yeah,
I'm not going to call it before he does. You know what I mean?
I do not think this is going to be Travis Kelce's last year. I think he's going to come in. I think he's still going to be very productive. He's a guy that loves the game of football. I think his brother retiring last year and then watching his team go on and win the Super Bowl, not that Jason Kelce has even like intimated that he regrets retiring, but I got to think that his brother, after having sat out a year, and look, these guys missed the game right after they're gone. I mean, even if it was the right time to retire, those guys miss the camaraderie with the teammates. You hear them talk about it all the time, right? I mean, that's been their life, playing football since they were kids. I think Jason Kelce's got to be in Travis's ear saying, look, man, if you think it's time, hang it up. But if you can keep going, if you can still play, man, keep playing, because you're going to miss it. And it's tough once you're out, right? Once you're done and it's over and your career's finished in the books.
And you retire and then your team goes and wins the Super Bowl.
It's tough. And then your team goes and wins the Super Bowl. I mean, people are saying, oh, well, if Kelce three-peats last year, then his will walk off. Why not go for the four-peat? I mean, if they win the Super Bowl this year, you could try to go and be, I mean, other than the Steelers, who went back-to-back multiple times, right? I mean, Tom Brady, did he go back-to-back multiple times in his career? I'm trying to think back now. There's not very many players that have got back-to-back twice. If you come back this year and you're in the Super Bowl again, and even if you win it, I mean, I could see that riding off into the sunset, right, going out on top. But I could also see him looking at it as like, man, I can still play, and that was fun, and we have a chance to repeat again. I'm not going to say the Chiefs can't three-peat again someday. Look, they missed their first opportunity at a repeat at back-to-back and came back and accomplished that. So, yeah, I'm not I don't think this is his last year, man. I think he's going to play.
Yeah, I think as long as they're competitive and his body is not totally failing him, he'll continue to play. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. But it's definitely too early to be putting the Travis Kelce's last ride out there on your social media. The other thing, too, is, to me, man, like, and he could always change his mind, and a season is a long, hard season, man, and it's tough on these guys. But to me, like, if he thought this was his last year, maybe he doesn't want to draw the attention to himself. Maybe he would think of that as a distraction or something, so maybe he wouldn't say it. But, I mean, he wouldn't be the first person that would come out and say, hey, this is my last year, this is my last ride. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, he started dating like the most famous woman on the planet. I don't think that he's necessarily worried about bringing attention to himself.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, he hasn't said it. So, well, Chiefs Kingdom thinks it's his last year. I don't think it is. I'm going to go on the record.
I get what you're saying, though. You're trying to say he's not selfish, right? So,
yeah.
So he wouldn't try to make it
he
all
doesn't
about
make
him.
the season about him is what
understood.
What I was getting at with that. But also a guy like that, he'd have every right to say, hey, man, I'm hanging him up after this year. This is my last go, and enjoy all of the perks. And, you know, if you're a fan, you want to see him play, this is your last chance to see him. Wouldn't be a completely selfish thing to do. So, put me on Team Travis plays another year. I thought Tony Gonzalez retired too early, right? Rob Gronkowski retired, came back, won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. He obviously still could play at a fairly high level now. He didn't have his career year that last year when he came back with Tom Brady, but obviously had enough in the tank to continue playing. So, yeah, man.
You can have an impact on the team, right? Like,
sure.
That's
teach the young guys.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the main dog. We did the poll a few weeks ago where do we think he ranks in receiving yards on the team? I mean, if he could come in and if they come back next year and have 600 or 700 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns and be a guy that Patrick can look to on third down, and then they've got that mind meld. They've had that going on forever, and tough spots, like clutch key situations, be the safety valve, man. Like, play as long as you can. Do what you love for as long as you can, because once it's over, not that retirement's going to be boring or not as lucrative, or he's going to have to worry about money or anything like that after he retires. But definitely going to miss it, man. Those players, you hear them talk about it. Like, a lot of them struggle to after football's over, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's, he's best friends with Patrick, right?
Yeah.
Andy's like a second father to him.
Right.
I think that there's just a lot keeping him there, and I think that I think he's going to go until the wheels fall off, personally. So
right, he should, but that choice is up to him, and I'm sure he'll make the right choice.
He's earned the right to make whatever decision he wants, however he wants. You know what I mean?
Sure, so. But yeah, I'm riding with Travis for at least one more year after this year. I think you see him back out on the field. I don't think this is the last go. Any questions anybody's got in the comments, Nick? Anything we missed?
I had Susan earlier. Have either of you ever played any football? What drives your interest to football? Any family in football?
Never played organized football. Played a lot of
disorganized football.
Disorganized football.
at the park.
Backyard football, park football, whatever you want to call it. Our family growing up, all huge Chiefs fans, so just grew up watching the games with mom and dad and the fam and cousins and aunts and uncles, and
we would play pickup football, I would say 3 to 5 times a week down at the park
during the summer, or even during school, even after school.
After school, during the summer, down at the park down there in Rio Rancho where we live. So
right,
yeah, we've just always been big football fans. I think it also
mostly by family. So now we don't have any family pro football players or anything like that in the family, but
but
that's definitely where I got my
stay
interest
connected
from.
with our family too, right? I mean, it's just like it's like a hub where like everybody comes around the Chiefs games and gets together and stuff. So
yeah, no doubt.
It's a badass sport. I mean, it's just an awesome sport.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Pepe in here. What's up, Pepe?
Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you swinging by. Training camp, like I said, gets underway next week, and then the preseason will be here. The season will be here before you know it. We really need your all's help getting to this 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you could tell a friend or tell a family member, I know we say that at the beginning of the show, but if you could help spread the word about the show and get some people to subscribe and get us to that 1,000 mark, man, we're itching to get there. If you're not following us on social media,
we're close.
Almost to the 6,000 follower mark on X. So that's where we put the polls out. If you're not following us there, make sure you're checking us out there. And as long as it's earned, we'd always appreciate a subscription and a retweet and a follow on the social medias, and do our best to bring you a good, fun show. We don't have former players. We don't have inside information. We don't have broadcasting, obviously, backgrounds or educations or anything. This is a place for fans to get together and yuck it up and talk ball. And we say dumb stuff. I know I've talked to people who say that they don't comment, but they watch because they're worried about saying something dumb. Look, I've said dumb said a lot of dumb, wrong stuff on this show before. So,
yeah, I mean, you do it enough, you're gonna say a lot of wrong stuff.
Right. Yep. So, what's Pepe's question there? So
it says what? So after Trey got his money or got his bag, who doesn't get paid and leaves?
We were talking about that at the beginning. I think the most likely candidate for that, I mean, we're talking about the star players, I'm assuming, right? I mean, I think just because of the amount of money it's probably going to take to keep Trent McDuffie is the most likely guy to not get paid, but I think he gets paid. So, trying to think of like a star guy that's on the team, man, that's coming up the next couple of years for a deal that's not going to get paid. I mean, I don't know, Nick and Pacheco, maybe?
Maybe. I just tried to see if I could get a quick list here to look at, but the AI was a little behind the times on who'd already signed contracts, so that wasn't very helpful.
AI.
Fucking AI. Yeah. Leo? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that Leo Chanel's going to be demanding enough of a contract that they wouldn't be able to make it work, but that's, I mean, they could let him go.
Bad choice.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice to say that maybe they let him walk, and one of the teams is trying to get some of the Chiefs, secret magic or whatever, might pick him up and say, hey, tell me what it's like in the locker, but
yeah,
I mean that's not a bad choice. We were talking. I mean, the big piece that we were talking about was McDuffie, and we I think they're gonna figure out a way to sign McDuffie in the next year, but probably not this year.
Yeah, it's a good question. Anytime you have to think about the answer that hard, that means it's a good question. So appreciate you.
You guys can probably smell my brain burning through the screen. That one.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see the comments thing the way that you format that on here. So I think we got to pretty much all the
StreamYard.
What's that?
It's a good job, StreamYard.
Yeah. I think we got to most of the big points. We'll obviously be back next week. Training camp will have been underway for first practice. I'm sure there'll be a fringe wide receiver making plays or one of these young running backs that we'll get way too excited about starting next week in training camp. Really looking forward to that. Hopefully Bo will be back with us next week. Again, thoughts and prayers out to him and the rest of his family. Great people. Looking forward to talking ball with him again next week. If you haven't clicked like, if you haven't clicked subscribe, if you do that now, if you liked the show and you want to subscribe, we'd appreciate that. We'll be back next week. Training camp will be underway. 2025 season, basically. I mean, that's basically the official start, right? Training camp getting underway. Chiefs will be looking for another Super Bowl, trying to avenge the loss in last year's Super Bowl to the Eagles and go 3 for 4 and keep this dynasty going, despite a lot of people saying that this is the end of the dynasty and it's over, even though they just were in the Super Bowl 3 years straight. Some of the shows got canceled too. Funny how that works out. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Hope to see you there. Until then, let's go Chiefs.
All right, let's go Chiefs.